What's up, everybody? My name is Graham Elwood. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Government Secrets. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great. Unless you've canceled me because I'm not a member of the True Left, since apparently the True Left is now some kind of fucking cult. excited to be not in a cult. I remember when I criticized Tulsi Gabbard 3 years ago, a lot of those cult people got mad at me. Turns out I was right. So let us make sure you like and subscribe and share this out on your social media. And if you, let's see, there we go. On YouTube, this is our 10th. No, we're in our 11th month of being demonetized by YouTube. Isn't that fantastic? So let's enjoy that. Let's enjoy that. All right. I think we got everything set up. Let's bring Lee Camp on the show. Creator of Rad Indie Media, and 15 other podcasts. Ladies and gentlemen, Lee Camp.
Yep, Randy Indie Media. It's actually Indie Media for horny folks.
For horny people from the UK.
Yeah.
That use that term.
Yep. I can't believe you're opposed to Tulsi Gabbard. Haven't you been waiting for a Democrat to give all the Fox News talking points? It's a very exciting time. I don't know what your problem is, Graham.
I know. It's like, and she's very effective at tricking and really using and scamming many people in the indie media into just buying her hook, line, and sinker. It was like,
I've always said I would be 100% all in for Tucker Carlson if he had boobs. I have said that from the beginning.
Yeah, I was able to make distinctions between like the good things about her and then the critical things, but I think that's all been gone. I think the true left doesn't want to listen to anything that's not from them. And this has been a problem. I was just talking to a buddy of mine about this. This has been a problem on the left since the 60s. Like
the virtue test, the purity test.
Yeah. The virtue tests and and there's this great quote that I heard. It was actually Susie Dawson said it to me from an actual indie media person who said the right looks for recruits, the left looks for traitors. And that's
yeah, very true. So I just wanted to give like a trailer for the upcoming episode. I think it's gonna be some of the best episodes we've had in a while.
Government Secrets, episode 66, the beginning of a 3 or 4 part mega series.
Trying to get Graham fully kicked off YouTube. That is the goal of these episodes.
This is like, you told me about this, and I was like, okay, cool, man. This will be the full, like, the screen's gonna go to black in the middle of this episode, but that's all right. That's cool, buddy.
There'll be a YouTube bot that actually just dubs over your voice with whatever they want you to say. It'll still be your mouth moving, but it'll be other words.
I mean, at this point, I'm a half an inch away from just becoming a crypto day trader. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really just bailing on this whole fucking stupid circus and just every day talking about what the crypto charts are doing. And I'm this fucking close to just starting to short that and leverage.
Remember, he used to be a left-wing political talking head, and now he does crypto day trading. It's standard path that most people go.
Comedian, game show host, Meisner trained actor, documentary filmmaker, goes to war zones, lefty. Now he's a crypto day trader, just living on a yacht in Dubai. Like I'm so close to just doing that, but anyway,
so this is going to be our 3 or 4 part series on the murder of Mary Meyer. Many people may not even know that name. I didn't until I started digging into it a couple years ago. But not only does it tie in like so much of other things we've talked about, but her murder, her killing is so brazen and so insane that honestly, this story's just fucking incredible. And I think it definitely opens a lot of other doors for people that were unaware of this. So we're still going to do the today in government secrets, but other than that, for the next couple episodes, we're going to stick to the true history of the assassination. I don't know. She have to be a political figure to the killing of Mary Meyer.
Yeah, and this ties into JFK, which is the last time I got shut down was because of JFK. So
I don't think it was. I think it was a coincidence. You've done 3,700 Epstein episodes. I think it just happened to be during the JFK assassination episodes
that they got fed up. That was just when I tipped it. That it just tipped. I hit the tipping point coincidentally when we were doing the JFK stuff, and they flagged videos of ours saying that the Wikipedia is the true source of truth.
Oh yeah, that's right. They put a little thing below. They were like, if you want the actual truth about the JFK assassination, go to Wikipedia, because that's where you'll get the actual reality.
They were just like, boldface fact, Lee Harvey Oswald killed him.
Yeah. Atlantic Council approved truth. Go there and check it out.
Paid for by the good people at the Warren Commission. So before we get into this, this Mary lady and her thing, let's get into
Mary lady and her thing.
The Mary lady. So let's talk about this week in government secrets. Ladies and gentlemen, this week in government secrets, in General Ulysses S. Grant, leader of the Confederacy, this date in 1863, issued General Order Number 11. They were in the middle of the Civil War. Now, what's General Order Number 11, Lee? You might be asking. It was ordered on December 17th, actually 1862. So this day, during the Vicksburg campaign that took place during the American Civil War. The order, get ready, buckle up, Lee. The order expelled all Jews from Grant's military district, comprising areas of Tennessee, Mississippi, and Kentucky. Grant issued the order in an effort to reduce Union military corruption. Oh, because that's the Jews are always corrupting shit.
Definitely the Jews, man.
It's got to be them. It's got to be them.
Got to be them. Let's remember the Union. They were the good guys, right? They were supposed to be the good guys.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Ulysses S. Grant was the Union. I'm sorry. I might have said Confederacy. He was the man.
You said Union. I think
I said Union. Right. He was the Union general. So these are the good guys. So this is what I love about the hypocrisy and insanity that is America. So all the insane shit that's happening today, it's not like, how did this happen? No, this has been happening. So just to clarify for everybody, and we'll get into the specifics of it, but the army that was trying to end slavery didn't want the Jews involved.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, exactly what you're saying is like they may have done something positive in one regard, but over with the, with the as they're doing that with the right hand, the left hand is like, yeah, but still massacre all those Native Americans. We're not opposed to that.
They're savages. Don't give a shit about what they're doing. And even to this day, it's like the person that's the big pet owner. I love the cats and the dogs, and we got to rescue every doggy. And they step over a homeless person to do it, and then sit down and have a nice steak. It's like.
Right.
Like, don't hurt this cute little kitty cat, stupid fucking chicken, and they just snap its neck.
Dude, I love that. People will get angry with you if you bring up factory farming or say, hey, maybe don't eat as much beef, and yet they would dive in front of someone who's smacking their dog on the street.
Yes.
They're like, no, like Secret Service in front of a bullet.
Yeah. And if there's child abuse happening, whatever, let's not get involved. But it should be noted today in history, a bunch of schools in California and Texas and a couple were closed down because there was I don't know how credible it was, but it got enough of a threat that there was a school shooting TikTok challenge today.
I didn't actually. I read a headline that said something about it, but I just saw the word TikTok and my brain shut down, and I didn't read it. So it's just like deactivating.
Oh, it's so like I've had some success on TikTok, but it's just another social. There's some good stuff happening over there, but it's also just another social media platform of this bullshit. And I'm really this close. This is why I want to be a day trader, is because then I don't have to do anything on social media. I just don't. I just gonna like amass money in Dubai. Anyway, back to the order expelled all Jews from Grant's military district, comprising of Tennessee, Mississippi, and Kentucky.
I love that they even had time for this in the middle of the civil fucking war. Hundreds of thousands of people being killed, and they're like, but let's still take some time to get rid of the Jews. I mean,
while we're at it, let's two birds with one stone. In order to ever to reduce union military corruption and stop an illicit trade to southern cotton. There we go. Money. That's what it's really about. Which Grant thought was being run mostly by Jews and other unprincipled traders. In this war zone authorized by the Lincoln administration, the United States licensed traders through the Army, which created a market for unlicensed ones. Union military commanders in the South were responsible for administering the trade licenses and trying to control the black market in southern cotton, as well as conducting the war. So
I wonder, I'm sure it worked. I mean, you get rid of the Jews, pretty corruption ends, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's why there's no corruption anywhere else. It's only in Israel. And yeah. So at Holy Springs, Mississippi, Grant's Union Army Supply Depot, Jews were rounded up and forced to leave the city on foot on December 20th, 1862, 3 days after Grant's order, Confederate Major General Earl Van Dorn's Confederate Army raided Holy Springs, preventing the potential expulsion of many Jews.
You remember the great Confederate call of defend the Jews?
So this is so insane.
Save the Jews! It was written across the Confederate flag for a while.
Right. So blacks are property, but save the Jews to protect. So it's all about money. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. This is all about just cotton money, which is what most of that war really was. It wasn't any sort of ethical battle. Although delayed by Van Dorn's raid, Grant's order was fully implemented at Paducah, Kentucky. 30 Jewish families were roughly treated and expelled from the city. Jewish community leaders protested, and there was an outcry by members of Congress and the press. President Abraham Lincoln countermanded the general order on January 4th. Grant claimed during his 1868 presidential campaign that he'd issued the order without prejudice against Jews in any way.
But read the end of that sentence.
Without prejudice against Jews as a way to address the problem that certain Jews had caused.
I said, listen, this has been blown out of proportion. I said, get rid of the Jews, not because I have any discrimination against Jews.
None.
I just think the corruption is caused by Jews. Why are people acting like this is a big deal? Look, there was no prejudice here. We just got to get rid of the Jews.
Look, we didn't let women into the workforce. I'm not saying all women are bad. I'm just saying we didn't let them into the workforce because they're lying whores. And I don't want that to be taken out of context. I did it for a very specific reason. I don't know why this is getting blown out that people are calling me sexist. I just don't get it. It's
people are acting like I said something that's negative about Jews. I didn't. I just said, get them the fuck out of my city is all I said.
All we did was rounded up Jews and kicked them out and made an order saying they're no good. And everyone's saying, oh, I'm anti-Jew now. It's crazy. Like, this is,
you know who probably started this rumor that I don't like the Jews? Jews.
Oh God, that's all they do, Lee. That's all they do is start rumors and scam stuff. But not all of them, most of them. I mean, This is only in America has the insane, like he said that straight faced. He didn't see that sentence and think that's insane. And he sounds like a crazy person.
And it worked. He got elected.
He got elected on it.
The American people were like, that makes sense to me.
I get it.
I get it.
I totally get it. We need freedom of religion. Unless you're Jewish or Native American, then you're a mongrel and we're going to take your land.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those people are corrupt because they don't believe that a carpenter was stapled to a piece of plywood 2,000 years ago. That causes corruption. We all know that.
Well, they have crazy, fantastical science fiction ideas, and then they don't believe that a guy turned water into wine. So I don't get.
Yeah, they're a cult. They're really a cult. They don't believe that a guy lived inside a whale.
And I'm not anti-whale, but we're just going to kill all of them for money, for their blubber money. I mean, so
that's today in history.
That's this today in government secrets. So let's do now our only real segment of the show, Lee Camp's trilogy episode or whatever this is going to be.
Quintilogy.
This is like one of his many the books of Lee Camp.
Well, you better appreciate this one because I read a book not once but twice.
Well, I'm sure this will dovetail into the book that you referenced that I'm still in the process of reading because it's hard to read like every day, which is JFK and the Unspeakable, because it's so just like every chapter is like, oh, him and Khrushchev were working towards peace, but generals in both of their countries wanted to kill them. So it's really, that book is the like, oh, this was America's like last chance at not being evil.
Yeah, that was the fork in the road. It really was when they took out Kennedy.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, there's been no moment since then where you're like, we might really, no.
Yeah, and I have failed to look up the episode number, but for those who want to learn the truth about JFK, go back and find our 3 or 4 part series on that, which you totally should. And what I'm about to do is largely based on this book, Mary's Mosaic, which is a fucking phenomenal book. And the author actually, you'll see in a minute, plays a role in this story more than a normal author does. And it's an incredible book. And the guy worked on it. I interviewed him on Redacted tonight, but he worked on this book for 35 years or something. Like, it's been like his life's passion. And he just did an incredible fucking job. But anyway, I'll give a brief summary. We'll get into more of the details of a lot of this stuff later, but I'll give a brief summary of what happened. Mary Meyer. In 1964, mid-October, in the middle of the day, 12:30 p.m., Mary Meyer, an affluent Washington, D.C. socialite, niece of the former governor of Pennsylvania, ex-wife to a top CIA officer, was murdered on the Canal Path in Georgetown in Washington, D.C. It was almost 1 year after John F. Kennedy had been assassinated in Dallas, and Mary Meyer, as the entire nation found out a few years later, but did not know at the time, was one of Kennedy's lovers and perhaps the woman he loved most. Many people within his circle knew this. It wasn't within his circle. It wasn't that big a secret. Jackie Kennedy definitely knew. She knew about his mistresses. She was unhappy about it, but they definitely had kind of an agreement that she'd stick with him through the presidency. But it seems that Mary Meyer was more his love, definitely, than Jackie was. And for those of you watching the video version, here is a photo of Mary Meyer and Kennedy. There's like one photo of them together. There's not many, but yeah, it came out a few years after, I think in the 70s, it came out in a grand way that she had been one of his lovers. And it's pretty much, it's common knowledge now, but so Author Peter Janney, the author of this book, Mary's Mosaic, had known the Meyer family since he was 5 years old. His mother and Mary Meyer were friends. His father and Cord Meyer were in the CIA together. They were both higher ups in the CIA. The author's father was also high-level CIA. His name was Wister Janney.
So just to be clear here, the author of this book was high-level CIA.
Father.
His father was high-level CIA, but he was not.
No.
Okay.
He was not. Just his father.
Just his father. Okay.
His father was high-level CIA. His name was Wister Janney.
That sounds like a cocktail in like one of those old rich guy steak joints.
Wister is definitely an old U.S. oligarch name. Wister. And the other guy's name is Cord. I mean, are these people not the fucking oligarchy of the United States?
I will have a Wister Janney with a water back.
It sounds like something James Bond would order. That's right before he murders someone. But I believe it was Wister Janney who was actually one of the heads of Operation Mockingbird, the effort to put the CIA in the media.
Yes, which we've covered on this show. Wow, you're right. This why this is going to be. This is going to tie in so many of our past episodes and past government secrets.
Yep,
it is fantastic.
Absolutely. So this is kind of a side note. One of Mary Meyer's sons, Michael, was the author's best friend growing up. They were, families were friends. They were best friends. Cord Meyer, Mary Meyer's husband, was also close friends with infamous CIA man Jim Angleton. Angleton will come up a lot in this story. Angleton was even the godfather to Mary's 3 boys. So Jim Angleton, kind of known as the angel of death within the fucking CIA, was the godfather to Mary Meyer's 3 kids. Michael Meyer, the author's best friend when he was a kid, was hit by a car and killed when he was 9. Now, that's just kind of a side note. It's not really related, except that I think that for the author, figuring out what happened to Mary Meyer is kind of connected psychologically with this like epic loss of his best friend when he was 9.
Okay.
So they're kind of similar. But as the author says, even more upsetting than that was that after 30 years of researching Mary Meyer's death, the author came to the realization that his CIA father was at least tangentially involved in the plot. So
that's gotta make you proud. You know what I mean? Like that's when you go, that's like, if I found out my dad was in the CIA and had someone murdered that could have, made America a better place, I'd be like, boy, Dad, way to go. I do think my father might have been in the CIA. And I'll say this is just a sidebar here. He was a theater professor, and my father spoke 3 languages, and he was very fluent in German. And because his PhD was in German theater history, which is fun. Goethe, Bertolt Brecht, those guys are a hootly.
Oh my God. Can you please do like a couple of acts for us?
You remember that German theater comedy?
Yeah.
Nobody. They didn't have one. So he used to travel like once a year. My family lived in Berlin before I was born in the 60s in West Berlin. In the 70s, we lived in Munich when I was alive, and my father would go to Germany like once a year. And in that time, in the height of the Cold War, somebody approached him and said, "Hey, would you mind just going and getting some information for the U.S. government? Just listening at some of these parties you go to." And he was like,
right.
No. My father had read enough spy novels. This is his story to me. So he said, no, I'm not doing it. He's like, and he would always kind of joke, he would always tell that story like I wasn't going to go into that spy world. Now, also we should know my father was in the Air National Guard and was a code breaker.
Boy, this is adding up like CIA.
Right?
The German theater cover.
The German theater cover. He spoke perfect German. Like Germans would ask him like, "Oh, is that a so-and-so dialect?" Like like he had a regional dialect to his accent. He didn't sound like an American. "Oh, you speak pretty good German for an American." It was like, no, they were like, right. Austria? Are you from Frankfurt? Are you from, like, they would always kind of couldn't quite pinpoint his regional dialect.
That's funny because whenever I speak Spanish, people are like, "Oh, are you mentally challenged?" So it's kind of similar. It's a little different. It's kind of similar.
Are you reading voiceover copy for a Taco Bell ad? So that's my dad's thing. And I don't know, if it were to come out that my dad was in the CIA, let me just tell you this, I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think he was. But there's some things that add up for Professor Elwood that
yeah, that sounds about right. And we're gonna get a little into kind of CIA covers going forward in this story, but
great.
So I just wanted to give that background. But now let's back up some, or not exactly back up, but let's get into the details of the actual murder, and then we'll kind of piece it all together. So Mary Meyer, she goes on a daily walk on this canal towpath, Georgetown. It's well known. If you live in DC, you kind of know exactly where this is. She was shot twice in broad daylight, basically executed. Once in the head, and then once in the basically through the chest. That was kind of a kill shot. The sole witness to her murder was a tow truck driver named Henry Wiggins Jr. He was on the road up on the hill that looks down on the canal. So he basically heard screaming and calls of help. He was already stopped on the road in order to fix a broken car. So he's already standing on the road. So he goes over to the edge of where the road is and looks down at the canal. And he saw what he describes as a Negro male. Now, keep in mind, I'm using that term occasionally because that was the common term then. So sure. The quotes back then were about a Negro male. It's not a racist term at that time. And also Wiggins himself was black. So what he described as a Negro male standing over a woman who laid motionless on the ground. Wiggins described the man as being 5'10" and 185 pounds. And he listed his clothes as a plaid golf cap, light beige colored jacket, dark trousers, and dark shoes. When Wiggins saw the man, the man looked up towards Wiggins and did not appear afraid. He appeared calm and not hasty. When police arrive a few minutes later, they found that the tracks on the ground, so they find the body, nobody around. They found that the tracks on the ground showed she had struggled and had been dragged to the spot where she laid. So basically, she'd been shot once. She goes over, grabs a tree that's kind of close to where that hill goes up to where Wiggins was, and she's grabbed and dragged 25 feet back towards the canal, then shot again a second time that kills her. Police broadcast the description of the suspect over their intercom to the other officers. Obviously, there's no phones at the time, traveling phones. And the walkie-talkies are pretty much only in the police cars. So they can't, many of them, can't walk around with them. They have to go back to a car to report something. So when police officers arrive, they do their best to kind of shut down the area and stop anyone from escaping the canal path. But it's really bullshit. There's plenty of ways in and out of the canal path. So the idea that they really shut it down is kind of bullshit. An officer, Warner, is on foot. He comes across a short black man who's soaking wet. The man was wearing a yellow sweatshirt and navy blue pants. The officer asked him his name. He says Ray Crump Jr. He was described as 5'3" and weighing 130 pounds. So this is a jockey-sized individual. This is like a mini-me. So, this guy doesn't fit the description at all, except that he's black. Have we heard this before? So when asked why he's all wet, Crump says he'd been fishing and he fell in the water. But a later search reveals no fishing gear. They never find any fishing gear. The cops also later do find a jacket in the water that they say matches the description that was worn by the killer. So Crump is arrested. He's terrified. He's shivering wet. At the police station, he's paraded in front of photographers and journalists who have already gotten the news that a wealthy white woman was killed. So they're standing outside the police station. Crump is like paraded in front of them as if already convicted. And he keeps saying, "What did I do?" Because they won't tell him. No, at this point, no one knows the identity of the dead woman. So it wasn't like, oh my God, ex-CIA wife Mary Meyer was killed, daughter of or niece of a governor of Pennsylvania was killed. No one knows that it's her yet. It's just a white woman's been killed. So Crump has a right to an attorney, but the cops never inform him of that. Henry Wiggins, the only eyewitness, was told by police to indicate Crump was the killer. So this was, by the way, it still happens today, but it was incredibly common back then, where cops would say, they'd bring in an eyewitness or someone they wanted to be an eyewitness, and they'd say, pick out that guy. That's the guy that did it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's 5 guys. There's 4 like blonde dudes and 1 black guy. And they're like, who did it? Who in the lineup? Who do you think did it? Like,
right. There's 4 guys dressed like Austin Powers, and then Ray Crump standing there.
Crump. This guy just terrified. What's going on? And this is sort of classic too. The perp walk to make a guy guilty before. So the media just says the person's guilty before anything happens. Odd though. We haven't ever seen any of that in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. Nope. No photos of her. No perp walk.
Right.
No nothing.
Right. She still has not been photographed in handcuffs.
Nope. Just sketch drawings. Interesting. There's no CIA connections to her or anything like that. So anyway, back to this.
That's because she actually is pencil. She's a pencil drawing.
She is graphite. Yeah. And housed in wood.
Those are actually photos, Graham.
She's a marionette. It's a soulless, evil marionette of a person.
So a lot of highly unusual things happen almost immediately in this ongoing prosecution of Crump. For example, the government's case is represented immediately by Assistant U.S. Attorney Donald Smith before they've even identified Mary Meyer as the victim. Why the hell would the government send from, one of their top lawyers in the nation, the Assistant U.S. Attorney, to prosecute a supposedly standard murder, if there is such a thing, against a woman who had not yet been identified? Clearly, the government, for some reason, felt this was something of importance.
Sure. Every time there's just a random mugging where just somebody shoots somebody, it's sad and tragic. We always get the highest prosecutor in the land to fly in for that, or just walk down from their office since it's DC. I get it. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. Anytime there's a mugging gone wrong or whatever, or attempted rape gone wrong, they send in the nation's top lawyer.
Yeah. I mean, if just a regular person has some heart palpitations, the Surgeon General always just shows up and says, what can I do?
What can I do to help?
What do you need me to do? Just tell me where to go.
So it soon became clear from the autopsy that Mary Meyer had been shot twice, once in the back of the head, but the one in the back of the head, she survives. And you can't prove this, but it almost seems like it was intended not to be a kill shot. But it seems clear from the struggle that she survived the first shot, but was dragged backwards towards the canal and then given the final shot that killed her. A few things are important about this. Why drag her back towards the canal? If you're clearly already killing her, what purpose does that serve? Also, the doctor who performed the autopsy said the first shot was done very close and would have caused a lot of blood to spray on the assailant. However, Ray Crump's jacket and everything found in the canal had no blood residue. Nothing on it, nothing on his other clothes, nothing on his pants.
No gunpowder, nothing.
No gunpowder. Furthermore, the second shot seemed like a professional kill shot, like seemed to be done pretty expertly. So Mary Meyer's identity was known by the evening. She's killed at 12:30. It's known by the evening who she is because she didn't have ID with her, so it took a few hours. The following morning, the Washington Post ran a cover story with photos of Mary Meyer and Ray Crump, and Ray Crump's in handcuffs, basically convicting him of the murder on day one.
Wow.
With zero physical evidence, and he doesn't at all match the description of the killer, except for being black. The papers made sure not to mention that Meyer's ex-husband was high-level CIA. Instead, they just called him, quote, a government employee.
Oh, so just like somebody that, you buy tickets from when you go into one of the museums, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Smithsonian. He's got the little clicky thing, clicking everybody, how many people walk in.
He sells hot dogs at the Smithsonian. That guy. The parking lot attendant over at the Jefferson Memorial. That guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, the guy that tells people they can't dance in front of the Lincoln Memorial because there's a no dancing. There is a no dancing law, and you got to enforce it. So he's that guy.
Okay, cool. They're all government jobs. I mean, they're all the same.
Very similar jobs. Yeah.
High level CIA, parking lot attendant, whatever. No dance guy.
So here are some other key points. Despite major searches, including in the canal, basically dredging the canal looking for this stuff, the gun was never found. A weapon is never found. The FBI forensic analysis came back 4 days later and showed, one, there was no evidence or residue showing a recently fired gun had been placed into one of the jacket pockets, which is what Wiggins says he saw, was a guy stick his hand in his pocket, in the jacket pocket. There was not, number two, there was no semen identified on either the suspect or the victim. Number three, no fibers were found on Crump's clothing connected to Mary Meyer, despite an extensive struggle between the two. Number four, no African-American hairs were found on the victim, and no Caucasian hairs were found on the suspect. Number five, there was no blood found anywhere on Crump's clothing. So, pop quiz, Graham. Do you think this forensic analysis that I just read out was rushed to the police station where Ray Crump was then released due to lack of evidence?
Boy, Lee, I'm going to say that didn't happen. Like it got bungled up maybe, or
I cannot get anything by you, Graham. You just won 1,000 points. I think it's your history and game shows that makes you so good at this.
That's right, Lee. I always know the correct answers to any question, and I sound like I know what I'm talking about by taking these significant pauses.
That always indicates extensive knowledge.
Just pause before you answer, Lee.
No, somehow you knew the right answer. The forensic report was covered up and withheld from even the defense team until months later.
Oh.
So Crump is held despite zero physical evidence linking him to this crime other than black guy on the canal path. Overall, police, had zero evidence. I said that. But right then, delivered from the convict a black guy heaven, came a new boost to the government's case against Crump. All of a sudden, a U.S. Army lieutenant named William L. Mitchell shows up at the police station the following day and says he read about the murder in the paper and he had seen that woman the day before being followed by a black man fitting the same description that Wiggins gave. He ran past them on his daily jog. So there you have it. Witness number 2 has shown up fresh from being stationed at the Pentagon.
Well, I mean, he's just another government employee, Lee, right? I mean, just another. Yeah. It's DC. Everybody works.
It's a government town. It's a government town.
Yeah. Wow. That's so convenient that happened, that they just happened to find this guy. It's almost like they just happened to find an angry club owner named Jack Ruby that was just really mad that somebody killed the president.
Right.
It's just mad. And even though, as you talked about in the series when we did the JFK, that's in the book JFK and the Unspeakable, is that Jack Ruby and Lee Harryhausen had worked for the CIA. I mean, those are all just wacky. You know what I mean? Maybe they were janitors over there. I mean, there's a lot of
when you go high pitched, there's nothing untoward going on here.
I just go to this voice because that means I'm planting seeds of doubt.
And that's the same pitch that Grant used when he expelled the Jews. What? I'm just saying there are Jews that shouldn't be here.
And I'm not against all Jews, just the bad ones. You know what I'm talking about.
Just the bad, but in order to get rid of the bad ones, we got to get rid of all of them.
Got to get rid of them all. I mean, a few bad apples spoil the whole bunch. I got to throw the whole bunch out. Wow, so this is great.
Everyone should remember the name William L. Mitchell. It will come back to haunt this story later. But there's also a bit of a timing issue that the author notices in the court transcripts that it doesn't appear that anyone within the trial noticed, where if Mitchell had run past Mary and her killer, which is what he said, and he claims the black man was 200 yards behind Mary, at the time, if he'd run by them at the time he said he did, then the killer would have had to sprint basically the entire 200 yards to try to get to Mary in time to be seen by Henry Wiggins on that path. And furthermore, Mitchell said he didn't hear any gunshots. So Mitchell would have to be sprinting in the opposite direction. This guy would have to be, at the moment Mitchell passes him, have to suddenly go into an all-out sprint to go kill Mary Meyer, who he supposedly, according to the official story, didn't know in any way, had no connection with. Ray Crump just that day fucking got in his head, I'm going to go attempt to rape this white woman for about 3 seconds and then murder her.
Right. And I'm sure there's no motive. He's never seen her. There's no ties to her at all. It's not like they used to date or they worked together. He tried to ask her out and she said, no, there's none of that. Of course, there's nothing. Right.
Nothing right. Connecting them whatsoever. But also, as we know, if you watch, mainstream media and stuff like that, black people just have a penchant for random rapes in the middle of the day. So
of course,
yeah,
200-yard flat sprints in the 60s. A black man running in a full sprint towards a white woman, absolutely made sense.
Yeah, very, very normal. So, but luckily, this is where this trial of Ray Crump changes a little. He ended up with a killer defense attorney, Dovey Roundtree, one of the first black female defense attorneys in the country, and she knew what the fuck she was doing, and she is a true hero in this story. Of course, there are no statues to her because we do not make statues in this country to black women. But the first thing she had to tackle was why Crump had really been there on the canal path that day. It turned out he had indeed lied to the cops, which of course helps their story, but not because he had killed someone. He was married, and even though he's 25, back then people got married earlier, he had 4 or 5 kids or something. You get married at 18, you pump out 17 kids. But that was the standard back then. But he was married and had been on the edge of the canal that morning with his mistress, a woman named Vivian. He and she had gotten drunk in the early hours. They couldn't afford a hotel, so they went to a spot where he usually went fishing. He figured no one would be there. They went to that spot. They had sex, and then she left while he was asleep. When he woke up, he apparently slipped and fell into the water, hence why he was soaked. But he didn't want to reveal the affair because he didn't want to get in trouble with his wife. So he told the cops, or get in trouble with Vivian's husband. So he told the cops he was fishing. Vivian refused to testify in court because she said her husband would kill her if he found out. But she did eventually give an affidavit verifying Crump's account. So she has verified his alibi.
Wow.
Despite the entire justice system weighted against Crump, Roundtree still managed to pick apart the police story. The judge did everything he could to try and indict, convict Crump. He even forbade the mention of the CIA in the trial. But Roundtree carefully shredded the timing, the assertions, and the testimony of the cops. Something came out in the trial transcript that will be crucial in later figuring out who really killed Mary Meyer. Mary Meyer's sister was named Toni Bradley. She was married to Ben Bradley, who at the time was DC bureau chief for Newsweek. He would later go on to be the editor of the Washington Post. Ben Bradley, and he became a storied editor of the Washington Post. He even, they had a memoir eventually about his time at the Washington Post. Ben Bradley testified in court that he was alerted to the fact that Mary Meyer, his sister-in-law, had been killed around 6 p.m. that night when an officer came to his door. That's when he says he found out, 6 p.m. that night. This wasn't important in the trial. They glanced over it and didn't mention it again. But everyone should not forget that fact because it becomes crucial. So Dovey Roundtree also got one of the cops on the witness stand to reveal he saw a second black man on the canal path that day. He spotted him from a distance. The man soon disappeared behind some trees. But this means there was a second black man there that no one had looked into or really cared about. Also, although no one at the trial would realize the importance of this, the testimony from police reveals that a call went out at 1 o'clock to begin looking for a beige jacket that Crump should have been wearing, right? When they find him, he's just in a yellow sweater. So they believe he had a beige jacket, which is what Wiggins' eyewitness testimony said. So if he were the killer, then he'd have this beige jacket. But when spotted by police, he wasn't wearing it. So this call goes out. Everybody needs to be looking for a beige jacket. But that call goes out at 1 o'clock, which is exactly the time that the first cop says he stumbled upon Crump. Meaning a call goes out to search for a beige jacket before anyone could have known that Crump wasn't wearing a beige jacket or even knew who Crump was. So why the fuck did this call go out? Hey, everybody, we got to keep an eye for this beige jacket when they didn't know that yet.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. You just always know beige jackets are going to be part of crimes, Lee. So you always just send out anytime there might be a crime.
Hideous, so.
Yeah, you always go, I think there's probably a beige jacket involved. So we should go round these up.
It may have also been, they don't mention this, could have been a members only jacket, which, I mean, we know they generally hit men.
I don't know that those were even in existence in the 60s, but it's a valid argument. It's a different valid argument.
Listen, if there was any group of people that I would give, you know, what I would suspect could go back in time and murder significant people, it'd be those in the members only club.
So what we're saying here is the members only is a CIA. Those jackets were CIA psyops, basically in the 80s.
Yeah, CIA issue, standard issue. So we'll find out later that there's a reason that they know to look for this beige jacket.
Yeah, I wonder what that could be. What possible reason could they have? That they staged this whole thing because she was going to blow the lid on the fact that they murdered Kennedy? No, I'm sure it has something to do with somebody jogging or
Graham, you're giving everything away. God damn it. Yeah. No, not
spoiler alert. CIA killed her and the Kennedys.
Damn it. Fucking spoilers. So finally, after a grand attempt at railroading Ray Crump, the day comes for the verdict. And Dovey Roundtree succeeds against all odds in getting a not guilty verdict for Ray Crump. It was an epic win for justice, but an epic failure for the Justice Department that really needed to pin this killing on someone. Our government really wanted to pin this killing on someone. Even those who weren't in the know as to what actually went down really wanted to say, hey, rich white woman, we know who killed her. So to this day, the Justice Department still maintains that Ray Crump Jr., a minuscule 25-year-old with no gun, no motive, no relationship to Mary Meyer, and no history of violence, shot and killed Meyer within seconds of coming across her in the middle of the day in a very public place.
And then after he does that, there is miraculously no physical evidence.
Yeah.
Like, even if there's no motive or he never knew her, anything like that. But let's just say he just went nuts and decided to kill her. I don't know, for whatever reason, just lost his shit. There's no physical evidence. You can't, if he had any blood on it, if he had any of her blood on her at all, you go, well, there's some, you got to go, oh, how did that get there? There's no physical evidence. So then the fact that there's no motive and no relationship just stacks up more in favor that he was completely just railroaded by the CEA, which that's what they do.
CIA, yeah.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, they really thought they could nail him. And as we'll learn later, I'll get more into those details on the next part of this. It's almost certainty that the reason she was dragged back towards the canal is because they needed an eyewitness. They needed an eyewitness to see this going down. This is what the CIA, back then, now they have other techniques, but back then one of their kind of standard issue how to kill someone was actually to do it in a rather public place.
Yeah.
Do it in a public place, have a patsy, make sure someone sees whoever it is you need them to see. In this case, a black male standing over the dead body. And the Henry Wiggins, the tow truck driver, who said that the cops seemed to be pressuring him to pick out Ray Crump. He never said he saw Ray Crump. He said he saw a 5'10", 180-pound black guy, and Ray Crump's a 5'3", 140-pound or 30-pound black guy. But they were pressuring him to identify Ray Crump. After this all happens, and obviously he calls the cops, he talks to the cops. The car he was working on, the broken down car, disappears. No one later is able to find identifying characteristics for it, like a license plate. They can't find a work order. They can't find out what happened to it. If it was broken down, where did it drive off to? It disappears. And so it seems very likely that Wiggins was placed there. And all of this could be easily manufactured in many ways, not every detail, but a lot of it, because they knew Mary Meyer took this daily walk almost every day. It's easy to watch her movements and know, okay, this woman goes out alone on the canal path and does a 4-mile walk, which takes a while, every single day. So they can know exactly which spot she's going to go by. They can place someone there to be an eyewitness. And the police believe that she was grabbed. The assailant grabbed her from behind and then shot her and almost point blank in the head, which she survives and apparently scrambles away and grabs a tree. He then drags her back towards the canal and kills her. But why, if you're just assassinating someone, why not just shoot them from a distance? Well, it would seem quite likely that they wanted her to scream. They wanted to get a witness.
Yeah, I mean, this is a cornerstone thing that what the CIA has always done is, or back then. Now they do, like you say, they use all different kind of tactics. They just smear somebody, or they just they have people in all these positions of power. Like, they don't let regular people get in any positions of power. But this is what I mean, we've done that. I mean, look at both the Kennedy assassinations. They need regular people to just go, I just saw this guy do this, and then they kind of stage it around there. So it makes sense. And again, if it was just a random murder, there's no reason to drag. If you just wanted to kill a person, you just kill them. You'd shoot them twice and run away, right? If all you wanted to do was murder. I mean,
yeah. And if it was an attempted rape, there'd be signs of that as well, such as like torn underwear, skin under her nails,
there'd be all that stuff.
Yeah.
Which again, there would be, and there's no physical evidence of that on Crump at all. He would have scratch marks. He would have all this stuff, which he doesn't. So it's yeah. And then the broken down car. Yeah. So either Winston was like a plant, or they broke the car down to get somebody to stop and, Yeah.
Yeah. They leave a car there. They call a tow truck company. They know they're going to send someone. So the tow truck guy's standing right there. And then once the shit's going down, they get the car out of there because they don't want the police asking who the car belongs to.
Yeah. The car just disappears.
Yeah. So that is episode 1, but in the upcoming episodes, we will get into why Mary Meyer needed to be killed, what she knew, and what got her killed, and the connections to Jim Angleton, Wister Janney, Cord Meyer. It'll all be coming back.
Cord Meyer. And who was it? What was the
Wister Janney?
Colonel? Who's the colonel on there? The lieutenant or whatever that was jogging?
Yeah, William L. Mitchell. Yeah.
Bill Mitchell. I feel like he's going to get rewarded and get promoted somewhere down the road and be involved in some other things.
You know, it's funny. You unintentionally just gave something away. He, for years, because I told you the author researched this for 35 years or something. For years, he could never find where William L. Mitchell went, like where he is in life now. And then he eventually finds out, like fairly recently, 10 years ago or something, that he officially changed his name to Bill Mitchell, which helped obscure where he was.
Right. Yep. Well, that's government secrets. Mary Meyer's first segment, I guess. She's getting her own episodes or segment numbers. I don't even know how to do this now.
We're breaking new ground here, man.
Breaking new ground. This is continuation of basically a continuation of the JFK.
It is, yeah. And we could I haven't researched them all. I know many people have been killed around the JFK assassination, but we could do a year's worth of episodes around that alone, I think.
Just all the people that were murdered after they murdered the president.
Yeah. But yeah, and this, keep in mind, this is a year after Kennedy was killed. So she clearly was not killed for being the mistress of JFK, because he was gone by that point. Right. It had to be more than that. So
yeah, she had to have a bunch of information. And the combination of being the president's mistress and then the wife of a high-level CIA person, she knew too much.
She did. She knew a lot.
She knew a lot. Well, folks,
tune in next week for what she knew. And yeah, go back if you want to go back and check out those episodes on who killed JFK as well.
Yes. And you can see back when this channel used to be monetized by YouTube. Back when I had 78, almost 79,000. Now I got 76,000. Like, they're unsubscribing. It's pretty.
Oh man, awful. Redacted Tonight's page has been like stuck at like 240,000 for I think like 3 years. I think we got there. We were doing great for a while, and then they were like, "Yeah, let's just end that."
Yeah. Crypto day trading, here I come.
Oh man.
Well, folks,
you're a full-time crypto day trader, I'm gonna have to reconsider this podcast. Lee Camp and Crypto Day Trader get together to discuss government secrets.
If this is the only thing about politics I do once a week, I'd be so happy with that. I'm so done with it. I'm so over it. I'm so over social media. I don't give a fuck what anyone's opinion is. I don't care.
Eventually, it's going to be your side of this video stream is going to be you surfing with a GoPro in your hand, just going, yeah, oh yeah, Lee, that's interesting, Lee. Okay, yeah, no, I heard you. Yeah, okay. Hold on, I got to catch this one.
Oh, dude, it's low tide. It's starting to jack up. It's pretty sweet, Lee. Anyway, what's your segment about? I was surfing yesterday. It was so great. Oh, it was beautiful. Well, Lee, everyone out there, hit the like button, subscribe, even though they're taking all of our numbers away, and then support us at libirapay.com/government secrets, which is a cool way to support our show. And, go back. If you're new to this, go back and listen to everything. All of our episodes are evergreen. We might talk about some little something that happened in the news at the beginning, but for the most part, all of our government secrets are pretty evergreen because it's a historical podcast. We might tie one of the secrets into some awful shit that just happened that week. But I
mean, because think about it. General Grant expelling the Jews is never not fun. It's fun every day of every week.
That'll always be fun. That'll always be a good time to learn that the guy that was in charge of the army that was trying to stop slavery still hated the Jews. It just makes you rest easy at night, doesn't it?
Yeah, the messenger coming in. General Grant, we just lost 10,000 men to dysentery. I don't have time for that. I got to get rid of 7 Jews.
We've sawed off one of the captain's legs from gangrene. I don't care. Tell that one-legged to kick those Jews out of town with his good leg. I don't want them here.
And Grant was British, if anyone was wondering.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm giving him some old-timey. That's right, old boy.
Listen, back then they were all British, okay?
Everyone had a British accent.
They were all British.
Hello, old boy. How are you, old chum? Ulysses Grant at your service. All my accents are British. Doesn't matter. Any of them. Hello, I'm from China. I am. Like all of them. All of them.
All my old Southern is Yosemite Sam. I dare say this cotton picking Jews are up in my business. I dare say.
Now fetch me some more iced tea. Fantastic, folks. Hit the like button. Share this show out to your friends and neighbors. And if you're listening to this on one of the platforms, make sure you like it. Give it a 4-star review. However many stars they got over there on Spotify or iTunes. iTunes is jacked up. Their whatever. iTunes just keeps getting dumber and dumber. But if you're listening on one of those dumb platforms, make sure you like us and give us positive reviews.
As you can tell, we're paid for those promotions.
Yes.
If you're listening on those dumb fucking platforms.
Yeah. Those fucking maggot-ridden, soulless tech platforms that are run by unelected tech billionaires. But also then really go to rockfin.com where you can support the show and everything Lee's doing. And if you do the premium, it's $10 and you get everyone's premium content on Rockfin. Me, Lee, Ron Placone, Whitney Webb, anybody else that's on there. And wrestling and MMA. You get everything that you want on Rockfin. So, all right. Anything else, buddy? What else? You got to promote something? You got any shows?
No. Taking it easy right now. I was surfing here in DC. Been doing a lot of that just on the Potomac River. So
that's gotta be good surfing.
So it's good surfing. It is. Well, every once in a while you hit one of the bodies and you get a little bump.
Oh,
kind of nice.
Shit.
Yeah, floating in the Potomac, but
beige jackets with no blood on it that's linked to a murder. Yeah. I get it. I hit those all the time.
But no, my main thing's radindymedia.com. Check it out. It's daily digital newspaper, anti-corporate media. Hope people like it. Join the email list so you can get daily emails with the top stories.
I don't even think I'm on that email list. I don't think
you motherfucker. I knew there was something I didn't like about you.
I've just been busy trying to run the Jews out of town. So I just haven't.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they get in the way of all the surfing. We know that. There's one reason for small waves.
It's the Jews.
It's the Jews.
They like yesterday I was surfing. The waves were small and there's it was too windy. So it was hard to get some of the waves. And I was like, goddamn Jews. They did it.
That is true.
So we're going to run them off the beach.
Oh, beach Jews are the worst.
Beach Jews. Not all of them. Just the beach Jews. I'm not anti-Semitically. I don't like beach Jews.
I'm not. People acting like I discriminate against Jews. I really don't. I just think we need to round them up and get rid of them.
What's wrong with that? Is that, well, are you going to cancel me now?
Yeah.
Just because I said something
for saying it like it is.
Telling the truth. Can't speak the truth anymore. No, you can, but just there's more repercussions now when you say awful shit.
You can. Just people are allowed to say they fucking hate you.
They have the right to say I don't like you and I don't want to hire you or give you a job or let you work here. They can do that. That's how that works. Anyway. All right, buddy. Well, go to Rad Indie Media, everybody, and check out all my stuff at grahamelwood.com. And subscribe to my newsletter and all my stuff. That'll always help. And buy Bitcoin because the economy is going to collapse. So there you go.
Parting positive note. All right, man.
Godspeed.
See you next week.
All right, buddy. Later. Lee Cap, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the show. All right, let's go to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Tony DeMayo, shave your knuckles for justice, Tony. Love the show, Graham. I've recovered from a mild case of COVID-19. Oh, man, I hope you're good to hear you because I was vaccinated and I will continue to watch your reveal government secrets on any platform. Thank you so much. Oh, you had mild case because you had the vaccine. Breakthrough case. Oh, if you're vaccinated, it's not as bad. You didn't have to go to the hospital. Good for you, Tony. What about people that have adverse reactions? That sucks, but that happens to every medication. Julie. Julie Desnick, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Julie, thank you for supporting us at rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Rockfin.com/Graham is a great way to support my show. If you really want to support just government secrets, go to liberapay.com/government secrets. You talked about Lonsdale before. He was at Daily Plaza that day. Daniel Sheehan has a great series on JFK assassination on YouTube at Romero Institute with Insider Connections. Oh, great. Thank you, Julie. Thank you for talking. Yes, Lonsdale was at Daily Plaza. Wow. Of course. Same people keep showing up. That's, I think, what's going to happen with this Mary Martin story. Is it just the same? We're going to hear the same names. Like, oh, all these evil folks were kind of in everything. They were involved in all of this evil shit. MHC, what's up? Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. In a few years, it will turn out it was always the CEA. And anyone who remembers it being the CIA will be caught in another example of the Mandela effect, just like the life was like a box of chocolates quote from Forrest Gump. That's excellent point, MHC. MHC, again, thank you so much for watching and supporting what we do. Graham could always try surfing somewhere in the Bermuda Triangle. It's risky, but there's a chance you might end up in a better parallel universe than this one. I'm down with that. Because people are always like, oh, what if there's a parallel universe or a parallel Earth or whatever? It would have to be better because this is the shithole universe. This has to be the Earth. Right now, we're facing climate collapse. The tornadoes are blowing up. Like this would have to be. This would have. Sorry, there's a. Hold on. Why is that? It's on 24. There we go. It would have to be. All right, folks. That is our show. I've got to go make another. Graham, go find a woman. Stop thinking. There it is. If I can get out of here, I'm not coming back to this rock. I hear that. Survived the COVID flu immunity, had one variant and no symptoms. Natural immunity is the way. Well, good luck for you. A lot of people. There's 800,000 people that didn't work. All right, folks, that's our show. Thank you for coming on, Lee Camp. Thank you for everybody supporting us at rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Check me out at Straight Arrow News. I've got 3 videos up there now. I'm going to be making another one. And support what we do at GrahamElwood.com. We'll be back Monday night for the Late Night Crypto Lounge, 8 o'clock Pacific. Check it out. That's our show, everybody. Thank you, guys. I'm so glad some of you, thank you for watching. Government Secrets. I really appreciate it. And if you don't like critical thinking and think that the true left needs to all have groupthink, then this isn't the show for you. That's a crazy cult. That's what a cult. That's a cult show. Here's my stuff on Straight Arrow News. Kate's putting it up there. Have a great weekend, everybody. And thank you for supporting what we do. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Lee Camp. And remember, Monday night, 8 o'clock, Rockfin only. Got to be a Rockfin premium member. It's the best deal out there. I appreciate you, those of you who support me on Patreon. I really do. If Patreon's getting pricey because you got to support all these content creators, $10 gets everybody at Rockfin. It's blockchain cryptocurrency. They don't censor us, so it's really good. Yes, Kate is the best moderator on YouTube. Shave your knuckles for justice.